The prehistoric world was a strange and hostile place, especially for the earliest humans who ventured across the Bering land bridge and first explored what's now North America. 14,000 years ago, our ancestors met creatures that were straight out of their nightmares. Picture a massive bear on stilts with a short temper and a chip on its shoulder. Or how about a sloth bigger than an elephant, with claws to match its fearsome appearance? Or an apex predator ripped right out of the pages of Game of Thrones? What about a horrific beast with the feet of a T-Rex and a razor-sharp beak that could slice through your spinal cord with a single flick? Or a muscle-bound, bloodthirsty megacat with an insatiable taste for human flesh? This countdown of the 12 craziest prehistoric creatures will make crystal clear just how tough our ancestors were. Number 12. Cave hyenas are one of the most popular animals found in early cave drawings, overshadowed only by woolly mammoths, which makes it clear that early humans had a lot of contact with the earliest representatives of the Hyaenidae family. Although commonly confused with early dogs, cave hyenas were no direwolves and most likely never formed a bond with the first humans. Cave hyenas swarmed the continents during the Ice Age, sticking mostly to the north but venturing down into the southern parts of Europe as well. Its favorite meal was the woolly rhinoceros, and cave hyenas took down the big prey by surrounding it in a huge pack. Modern hyenas are pack animals, living in clans of 80 or more, and ancient cave hyenas started the trend. Cave hyenas had a fierce competition with humans, although they didn't hunt us as the SMILODON did. Instead, they would steal valuable cave space for their nests, or creep up on human settlements at night to devour freshly killed prey. Among the smartest of the prehistoric animals, cave hyenas had a long and prosperous reign before recorded human history. Often confused with aggressive mastodons, woolly mammoths were a gentler type of creature and coexisted with early people 40,000 years ago. We know woolly mammoths from their giant curved tusks and formidable size. Mammoth males were well over 11 feet high and weighed 6 tons, making them roughly the same size as today's African elephants. Even their babies were supersized, weighing 200 pounds at birth. Woolly mammoths are one of the most popular subjects of cave paintings all over the world, and were most abundant in Europe during the Paleolithic period. The first humans used the mammoths for meat, and made tools out of their bones, indicating that these gentle giants would have been as important to our ancestors as buffalo were to later people. Our next pick is an apt predator that competed with our early ancestors. Like other big cats that made up North American megafauna, the American cheetah of old resembles the modern-day African cheetah. Its official name was Myricynonyx, and it had the strength and intelligence of the puma combined with the cheetah's renowned speed. Living during the Pleistocene epoch, the American cheetah stretched a full 6 feet from snout to tail, and weighed roughly 200 pounds. As a prehistoric predator, this animal would have been in fierce competition with both humans and direwolves. While its size was comparably smaller than other predators, the American cheetah did have one trick up its sleeve: super speed. Although nobody knows the exact number, it's estimated that the American cheetah could sprint at speeds of 50 miles an hour, easily keeping pace with larger prey. They could also climb, sheltering high in the trees to stalk prey across North America's ancient grasslands. Number 9. Woolly rhinoceros. Picture the rhinos of today, but with fur, and you have a good idea of what the woolly rhinoceros looked like. A card-carrying member of the Pleistocene megafauna, this animal populated Europe and parts of Asia during the epoch, coexisting with other creatures of the day, including humans. Woolly rhinoceroses were docile herbivores measuring 12 feet long and weighing about 6,000 pounds. Even though they snacked solely on plants, woolly rhinoceroses weren't animals to be tangled with. Their hard heads had prominent, razor-sharp bone horns that they could use to skewer their enemies. As tough as the woolly rhinoceros was, it's got nothing on our next long-gone creature. Number 8. Glyptotherium. Think of a huge armadillo, and you have a pretty good idea of what the mighty Glyptotherium looks like. This shelled behemoth lived in the late Pleistocene, meaning that it more than likely would have crossed paths with the earliest humans. Glyptotherium was a part of the ancient world's megafauna, a group of supersized mammals that dominated the globe after the fall of the dinosaurs. Glyptotherium was 6 feet long with a literal ton of armor protecting their bodies, making them more tank than animal. Some also had tufts of fur poking out of their bodies. Although they were fearsome looking, Glyptotherium were fairly meek creatures, preferring to spend their day sniffing out plant life in what's now North and South America. Our next pick was anything but meek and mild. Although lions are mostly relegated to savannas and zoos today, there was a time when these enormous cats dominated the planet. 20,000 years ago, lions were everywhere, including North America, and they certainly gave early humans a serious run for their money. Enter the American cave lion, a fantastically evolved creature that was light years beyond any living lion today in terms of speed and size. The American cave lion was 25% larger than today's African lions and stood 4 feet high. The muscular beast also weighed nearly 1,000 pounds, making it a formidable foe when it roamed during the Pleistocene epoch, rubbing shoulders with the short-faced bear during part of its long reign. What wiped out the American cave lion? Climate change is an almost certain culprit, but the sticky La Brea tar pits might have done these huge beasts in as well. Number 6. Giant sloth. We tend to think of sloths as docile, super chill creatures who love nothing more than peace, love, and a good nap. But the giant sloth, or Megalonyx jeffersoni, was anything but relaxed. This cranky creature was a predator to be reckoned with, a sharp-toothed, long-clawed, ticking time bomb with a chip on its enormous shoulder. The giant sloth roamed all over North America 35 million years ago, leaving remnants of its existence from coast to coast. First discovered in the 1700s, a single giant sloth weighed the equivalent of 570 modern-day sloths put together. Although they were slow, their massive front claws made them a true force to be reckoned with. Our next pick didn't have the claws of the long-gone giant sloth, but it made up in other ways. Number 5. Don't let the cutesy pop culture depictions of mastodons fool you. These prehistoric animals were among the most aggressive ancient creatures that ever existed. Early humans would have certainly crossed paths with mastodons at the end of the Pleistocene epoch, when mastodons roamed the planet and humans were first coming onto the scene. Mastodons lived all over North America, and their remains have been found as far south as Honduras, but they flourished in the colder climates as well. In fact, mastodons greeted humans when they first crossed the Bering Land Bridge, although we're willing to bet that it was less than a warm welcome. Although mastodons were vegetarians, these gargantuan brutes weighed over 6 tons, and their finicky temperament made them a real threat to the first people. Don't get our next pick twisted. These early canines were not anyone's lapdog. Number 4. You know direwolves from Game of Thrones fame, but these colossal canines didn't just roam northern Westeros. They existed in real life, and they were bone-chillingly frightening. Real-life direwolves were not loyal pets. They were ruthless predators that voraciously competed with humans for prey. Known as Canis dirus, direwolves looked like today's gray wolves, but a whole lot meaner. They had massive heads and bone-crushing jaws that allowed them to take on huge prey like bison, or even mastodons. Like modern wolves, direwolves hunted in huge packs, sprawling out over the land and surrounding their prey with a combination of skill and technical prowess. In a terrible twist, the direwolf's favorite murder method was the ambush attack, piling onto the stunned creature and ripping it to shreds with their teeth and claws. Stretching 5 feet long and weighing nearly 150 pounds, a single direwolf could easily take on a full-grown person. When they joined forces, they were even more lethal. Direwolves and early humans were fierce rivals before the species teamed up, with humans wiping out thousands of direwolves in their bid to climb the food chain. Number 3. You might not know the name SMILODON, but you've certainly heard of its nickname, saber-toothed cat. These horrifying predators were enthusiastic carnivores who even may have hunted people. They lived well into the Pleistocene epoch, and their reign lasted nearly 40 million years, making them an apex leader of the food chain during the early days of recorded history. Humans and SMILODONs certainly clashed, squabbling over food sources and occasionally snacking on one another when tastier animals were in short supply. SMILODONs monopolized the prehistoric world, claiming their stake on every landmass. The SMILODON's ruthlessness, paired with its comparably high intelligence and grit, gave it some serious lasting power in a brutal world. What could be worse than a saber-toothed cat? Check out our number 2 pick. The short-faced bear. Also known as Arctodus simus, this prehistoric predator clocked in at nearly 2,000 pounds of sheer muscle, and looked a lot like an enormous grizzly bear, towering 12 feet high above the earth. Part of North America's twisted menagerie of megafauna, the short-faced bear was a speed demon, capable of chasing their prey at an astonishing 25 miles per hour. Like all big bears, the short-faced bear had a keen sense of smell and followed its nose to track down other prehistoric creatures, and possibly even humans. Did the short-faced bear ever cross paths with ancient peoples? There is some speculation that these brutes actually prohibited humans from crossing the Bering Land Bridge. Whether this prehistoric creature was a gruesome gatekeeper, we may never know, but it certainly belongs on this list of crazy prehistoric creatures. There's only one animal that could top the short-faced bear for domination of the ancient world. Terror bird. The terror bird was pure nightmare fuel, and there's an excellent chance that it might have existed in conjunction with some very early, very unlucky humans. This avian ghoul lived up to its name with powerful bone-crushing wings, huge clawed feet, and a razor-sharp hooked beak that could rip prey to smithereens and sever a horse's spinal cord with a single peck. Yes, the terror bird dominated the land until 10,000 years ago, when humans first began walking the earth. It's not inconceivable that one of these prehistoric fiends may have carried off some of our ancestors for quick snacks. The terror bird's zenith of power came after the fall of the dinosaurs, when an evolutionary hole was opened up that allowed it to flourish. Like other dreadful creatures such as the titanoboa and the short-faced bear, the terror bird benefited from very little competition and soon was prolific all over South America. Although terror birds flourished mostly in the southern hemisphere, there are traces of them in some of the northern United States as well, making it seem like this big bad bird's footprint was a lot larger than originally thought. Which of these creatures did you find the most terrifying? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to subscribe to What Lurks Below.